Also got to talk locations, you know, because if I'm getting stabbed right here, I'm wearing that shit, you know, I'm wearing it. But if I'm getting stabbed down the middle, through the spine, and Darth Maul, he was holding that thing in there for some time too, you know.
Yeah, it's Dover at that point.
He was holding that bad boy in there.
End of season 2, they're like, okay, you have to go to the mines and take a bath, and you know, this is your quest for the future.
Bring me back some bath water.
Yeah.
Some Bo-Katan bathwater. Judah would be all over that.
That is.
And welcome.
Wait, why is it just you and me on the screen? Oh shit, my bad.
And welcome everybody. Season 3, episode 1 of the Archives podcast. So Tebow back on the block, and we also have returning to the show. He puts the Vice in Viceroy. He is the red hat enthusiast. He is Van Seal.
I am a real American, fight for the rights of every man.
And also joining us, making his comeback, like the Undertaker himself. The greatest amateur chef in Alaska. We have the Juder, and of course ain't nobody cuter than the Juder. I am your host, Sotika.
Just a sexy boy. I'm not your boy toy.
Thrawn's back, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
The Empire's back, baby.
So
Fuck
the boys are back in town.
Yeah. I bet there's so many like pro Empire red hat wearers. They're like, hell yeah, brother! Empire's back.
Empire Day, I love it.
Yeah.
Greetings, Padawans, and welcome to the Archives. Here to unlock this holocron is the man of the hour, Jedi Master Sotiko.
Bosha, welcome back, guys, to the Archives podcast. My name has recently changed, as we've started a brand new channel here on YouTube as JediKnightTrevan. You may also know me as Sotiko. You may know me as Trev. But I know what you all know our illustrious co-host as is Evan Furry.
Don't you say it. Don't you dare say it. You suck. You're the worst.
It's just what the people know you as, man. I'm just keeping it 100.
No, it's what you know me as. They don't know what to know me as anymore. My name changes every episode.
His name is Bolt23. Make sure to go check out his baseball channel. This is where you say your baseball channel, pal.
See, I thought you were gonna say it. It's weird that you're saying Bolt23 when that's my other channel that doesn't get used anymore. That's my online username for a lot of stuff. No, check out the Tiger Talk podcast. We talk baseball. Trev is a co-host over there as well. We are gonna be recording our first actual pre-recorded show of the year, the Tiger Talk show.
I'm so excited, man.
With this guy tomorrow. We have a lot of fun. I got a game plan for us. It'll be a recurring segment. It's gonna be sick. So yeah, if you guys are into Star Wars and baseball, like the two of us, because we're cool, you guys should check it out.
Absolutely. I know Star Wars isn't everybody's thing, but maybe you are a sports fan, and we're an attention to detail group over there at the Dugout Talk podcasts. We're very, very, very dedicated to not being just a rehashed opinion of what everybody hears, because that's annoying. You know, we're just some fellas that enjoy the game of ball. So definitely go check out Bolt's channel. That'll be in the description and the comment section. Really cool guy Bolt is too. He likes to do some weird role play things. That's
What the heck?
that's for him to decide.
Is that this week's bit that I like weird things? Last week I was a right winger. This week I like role play.
I'm not.
That's right.
I love that you're not deflecting though. That's great. Bolt's a great guy, great pal, and loves Star Wars just like I know that you guys do too, because if you're watching this, Christ almighty, you've had to sort through a laundry list of every other podcast to decide to watch this. So big shout outs to you. We appreciate it. I very much appreciate it. Do me a favor, whatever platform you're listening on, whatever platform you're watching on, go ahead and subscribe /follow/favorite this podcast. It does really help the growth of it, and especially with the new channel, the longer you watch it, the better. And because of that, I'm going to do everything in my power to ensure that you guys get at least 60 minutes of quality content a week on the podcast. Whether it's a solo show, I'll figure something out. That's what we do. We're Jedi. We figure it out. But I hope you guys enjoy. As you remember, if you watched the first episode, if not, definitely go back and do so. Definitely go back and do so, because man, it was a really fun podcast to do.
Although if you are joining us live, please join us. Please stay with us.
That too.
That back and watch it later.
That too. Bolt is not actually a right winger, and he's not. Well, he is actually a furry, but that's all I can conjure up from that. But if you are watching us live, or if you're listening to us post-humanist, go ahead and leave us a comment. Ask us a question, and we'll get to it immediately. Join our Discord, and let's have some fun. Now, if you guys all remember, this season is dedicated to the movies. The movies are the backbone of Star Wars. It's where we all came from. It is the chicken and the egg. This is what birthed it all, the movies. Without the movies, we don't have the shows, we don't have the games, and we don't have this conversation going on right here, right now. And I think that that's pretty cool. So big shout out to the Star Wars movies, and that's why we're giving them some attention in this season of the podcast. This is season 4, episode 2, number 52 overall. And today we get the privilege to speak about one of my favorite movies ever, especially growing up and especially being at such a peak stage in my life when this movie came out. Today we're talking all about Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones.
I wasn't born yet.
Not quite yet, no. You didn't get the you didn't get the effects of 9/11.
No, I didn't. I in fact did not. Although I do, I am from where I am from because of 9/11, so maybe in a way.
Is that so?
Yeah, if it wasn't for 9/11, my parents would not have lived in Texas, and therefore, because 9/11 caused my dad to have to move to Texas for work, so.
Oh, right on.
Otherwise, I'd be from like Georgia. Probably.
What's the?
I'm a Texan, so yeehaw.
What's the whole thing with Georgia?
This is where my dad's from, and where my parents lived when they first got married, until my dad's job brought him out to Texas.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Well.
Yeah.
I don't want to say.
Yeah, my dad's originally from Atlanta, so that's why I'm a Braves fan.
Got you. Okay. Well, I don't want to say shout out to 9/11, but I'm sure you're having a great time in Texas.
Shout out to American defense contractors
Yeah.
for being the reason that I live in a house.
And speaking of defense contractors, we get to meet.
The American.
We get to meet we get to meet
many of those suckers.
So many in this movie. We get to meet the.
We need to start talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. The Trade Federation. Huge shout out. Shout out to the Trade Federation. We get to see a lot more in depth of their character and who/what they are. Newt Gunray is a very fun.
Or that they're scumbag.
He's a fun guy, Newt Gunray. We get to meet the Techno Union, Wat Tambor. We love him in the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes realm. We get to meet, for the first time, former Jedi Dooku, excellently played by
The great
Sir Christopher Lee. And what a performance. What a character that you really wouldn't have, like, I don't think you'd anticipate the importance of a guy like Dooku without having the, like, smallest iota of knowing who Sir Christopher Lee is as an actor. Dooku was very, very cool, and he really helped advance the story. And when you really think about it, he doesn't play that big of a role in terms of screen time, but how important of a bridge character he is to fill in some really nice time gaps as well. Understanding that he's Qui-Gon's master and learning that in the course of the movie. He outright tells Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon would have been a wonderful ally at a time like this. Qui-Gon Jinn never would have joined you. Those guys are sick, man. That whole lineage really starts and ends with Dooku. And by that I mean Mr. Dooku was the one that trained Qui-Gon, who trained Obi-Wan, who trained Anakin, who kills Dooku. And all the meanwhile, Dooku comes into contact with the Padawan and the Padawan of his Padawan. And we get to see that in this movie as well. You a big Dooku guy, Mr. Bolt?
Yeah, Dooku's a sick character. I think when we get to it, I have a little bit of a thing I'd like to kind of talk about with Dooku later on this episode. Just a little interesting thought I had as I was rewatching it, part of it today. Because I started next week. I promise I will remember to I will rewatch the entirety of Revenge of the Sith prior to next pod.
Revenge of the Sith is pretty sick. That's one that you don't even feel bad about going back and rewatching.
I didn't feel bad going back and rewatching this one either, and this is not at all one of my favorite movies. It's by far not my least favorite, but it's definitely not my favorite or even my top 3 of the Star Wars films. So,
what would be your top 3?
I didn't feel bad about going back and watching it because my top 3.
Yeah, what would be your top 3?
Save that.
Well, I'm really curious on the framing of it. As we talk about these movies, I'm curious of how you look at them. Like, where on your top 9 would the Phantom Menace have gone? Maybe that could be.
Okay, so we're just talking purely in the
episodic.
So for purely the Skywalker saga, no Star Wars stories. I'll say, You know, I will put it at. I am torn. I would probably put it at. And this is by far not really a thing against the movie. It's really just more that I like all the movies more. I'd probably say sixth. Maybe seventh. It depends on the day. The thing it'd be fighting with would be Force Awakens.
Okay. See, this is good framing.
Because while there's some things I don't necessarily love about that movie, I like what it could have. I think some of my problems with Force Awakens now are more so what became of it based off the way the rest of that trilogy went. Whereas if that trilogy had maybe been of singular direction and had not had to undergo rewrites because directors made different choices, I think definitely it could be easily a higher pick than say sixth or seventh. I'm so sorry. That's just the numbers that it happens to fall in. So yeah.
Way to date our podcast. Now people in the future will be like, what are you guys talking about? 6, 7. Gosh dang it, Bolt. What you did.
I can't help it now, man. I've been so conditioned to like notice it and that I hate it when I'm like, I mean this completely unironically. I'm not trying to make a joke, but then I feel like I have to clarify that. I don't know why I do, because I'm obviously not just like sitting here like stimming like I'm some maniac. So anyways, we should actually talk about like start going through the events of Attack of the Clones by now, shouldn't we?
Well, funny enough, Attack of the Clones is chaos from the get-go.
This is true.
We literally load into the movie and there's a attempted assassination. There's an explosion of one of the most beautiful ships. I love those ships. The Nabooian star yachts. I love them. They're so clean and crisp. And that chrome finish that they have is just second to none. Really second to none. I know you're a big Razor Crest guy. For similar attributes.
This guy just be making stuff up about me on the weekly on this show. Forget Star Wars The Archives podcast. Forget Star Wars The ADHD podcast. It's Star Wars Trevor makes up things about Evan podcast for real, man.
No, like you love a Razor Crest. This much is true. Like,
I mean, it's a cool ship.
Yeah. You said in our ships episode that it was in your starting 5, so like.
Did I?
Yeah.
Wait, did I say this?
Yeah, you drafted the Razor Crest.
We had a draft?
Yeah.
What else did I draft?
Gosh. Some members of the Rogue Squadron. You picked a clone ship. You picked a TIE, I think. It was
oh right, did we have to like pick like one from each category?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
that's right. I definitely picked the TIE Phantom, didn't I?
Yeah. Yeah, you did. And then like one more.
I do not remember picking a Razor Crest.
One more ship that you have a I don't know, figure? Are those figures?
Oh yeah.
The
miniatures.
Yeah, there we go. That's why I was looking for it. Yeah, and it's yeah, it's just weird that you're now a Razor Crest denier.
I don't actually have a Razor Crest miniature, unfortunately. They made one. They didn't make one, I'm pretty sure. I definitely have an N1. I definitely do have an N1. Beautiful starfighter.
Have you seen the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer?
Yes, I believe so. But that also came out like multiple months ago, didn't it? So I may have forgotten by now, as I clearly have already forgotten what all I dropped from the ships episodes. So,
No, it's all
Yeah.
good. So in the trailer, they do feature a N1, but they also feature a new Razor Crest, which of course is Republic, and it's a very old ship. It's a very old type of ship. It's a ship that you can actually see in Attack of the Clones on Coruscant when Obi-Wan and Anakin start their big speeder chase with Zam Wesell. You can see a Razor Crest pass by.
Spots peak.
As much
I wish
as
you-
much
I wish
as
you
that
started watching it earlier.
that chase scene was very peak,
That chase scene is peak.
because I can't remember any other chase scenes up to that point in a Star Wars film. So it was really cool.
Well, I mean,
Endor,
given the
Endor.
classical definition of a chase scene, where it's like, well, I mean, maybe, but even that's a little bit. Even that's kind of different, though.
You think so?
I'd say that's a little bit different. I'd say this is this is a more classical interpretation of a chase scene.
Oh, okay. But it was a great chase scene, though. We got to see so much.
It was sick.
A lot of world
Especially because
building.
chase scenes normally don't operate in 3 dimensions the way that one did. They normally can operate in somewhat. They can somewhat operate in a 3rd dimension today. They jump over something, but
Sure, yeah.
the 3rd dimension of the extreme height differences between portions of this chase is just unlike anything else you'll see, any other kind of chase scene that you'll see. I mean, even other chase scenes in Star Wars, namely say like the one in Solo, is pretty much purely 2-dimensional.
Great movie Solo is too, but great chase scene that this is, and it ends up that Zam Wesell is a changeling working for a bounty hunter called Boba Fett. And
Jango Fett. What?
Jango Fett.
Yeah, Boba's still a child, bro.
I've been on
He's about to lose his dad.
I've been on my Boba Fett arc on Battlefront, dog. And Jango Fett, wow. What an introduction. Like we didn't need Jango Fett, but we got him. And we got a nice backstory for Boba Fett. And I think if Boba Fett isn't as popular as a character in marketing and in action figures and stuff like that, between episode 5, when he originally debuted, later he got added in special effects to episode 4. But between episode 5 and episode 2, Boba Fett was a very popular character in merchandising, and I think that's the reason why they went so deep into a backstory for Boba Fett through Jango Fett.
Yeah.
Jango was so sweet and genuinely was one of my favorite characters for a long time. Like, my brother and I used to trade our Lego minifigs to each other, and I would never trade my Jango Fett ever. I would never trade Jango Fett.
Character.
Oh, he's so sick. He's so sick.
I love my Jango Fett minifig that I have.
Yeah, it's just a nice clean design. Boba is kind of like rugged. Quite rugged. Whereas Jango, nice, sleek. The blue and chrome is a very tantalizing color combination. I love it. I love it. And I don't think that there's many better character introductions that you could do than showing the levels of what this guy is willing to do and what he's trying to do here. Like, oh, this guy is trying to kill Padme Amidala. Why is he doing it? Who's he doing it for? And we learned that pretty we learn that pretty later on in the movie, when we finally see that, oh, this guy's working for the Separatists and Dooku. But we get another name drop of a Darth here, and it's Darth Tyrannus when Obi-Wan goes to investigate Kamino, which, man, I could talk about Kamino for a long time. We find out that Jango Fett had been hired by a man called Tyrannus, which brings it back to Dooku, and it's like, man, this is a very interesting type of movie, let alone what is actually going on inside of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So as a child, as a wee young lad, I'm sure, did you watch the originals first or these ones first?
Yes.
You watched the originals first?
Yes, I watched the originals first.
So how did you feel about seeing Jango after seeing Boba Fett?
Not one singular clue.
Not one clue.
That is, you were asking for the memory. So this is where you start to get that's the so long ago now that you're starting to get into like the memory of a memory, right? And I don't even have a memory of a memory. I just know that at some point I watched this movie and I was like, Star Wars is pretty cool. I'll watch another one. And then I watched Attack of the Clones, and then I was like, I've seen Attack of the Clones now, and then I've watched it again since then. Multiple times. So yeah.
That's super fair. It is tight though to see a guy like Jango who, like, he fits in so well, and that's the point I think I'm trying to make. He fits in so well because he is also telling the beginning of a story that happens later on in the saga. But meanwhile, while our man Obi-Wan is on the hunt to try and find out, God, who is responsible for this political assassination? I must get to the bottom of it. Anakin Skywalker. His... God, I don't even think Wonder Boy or number one prospect would be enough of a descriptor for Anakin Skywalker at this time. Like, he is genuinely...
Another alternate descriptor for Anakin at this time is hormonal teenager.
Virgin. Virgin. Which I guess later got retconned. Shout out to Barris Offee. Anywho.
That's...
I'm just giving shout outs to where the shout outs are deserved, you know?
Yeah, okay. Shout out to Barris Offee for framing Ahsoka Tano and being forever my sister's most hated Star Wars character.
Really? She doesn't like
No,
it?
my sister legitimately has eternal beef with Barris Offee for framing Ahsoka.
Damn. That's nuts.
Like, the name Barris Offee is mentioned, she gets angry. It's really funny.
Yeah, well, I hope your sister knows that her and Anakin, great friends in the temple. Great friends. Very exciting stuff.
And
but
one day I'll be angry with her and I'll decide to ruin her day with that information.
there you go. It's perfect. Perfect
Actually,
idea.
Loki, ruin her week. That's ruin your week kind of information right there.
To a degree. I would agree to a degree. Especially if you are such a premeditated hater like that, you know what I mean? But Big Annie Bobani is head over heels in love with, I mean, how could you not? She was my absolute, really one of my only childhood crushes. Padme Amidala, dude. Wara.
Padme Amidala or Natalie Portman specifically?
Natalie
Either.
Portman, but for a wee while, it was Padme. What a character. What a performance. like we said in the last podcast, a lot of really good actors and actresses. It's just nuts that the main characters weren't mentioned at once by Bolt when we were bringing up the actors and actresses in which we appreciated out of this, but that's all right. I too also did not mention either, but Natalie Portman is definitely among the strongest of the actors, I would say, that came from the prequel trilogy of Star Wars.
And certainly one who got as much screen time as she got.
Absolutely. Like, she's a genuine main character.
Yeah.
When you think about Star Wars, you think about the Skywalkers. She's, 1B Skywalker. She really is. Because without her, there's no Luke and Leia.
Yeah.
It's a big shout out to Padme giving birth to Luke and Leia, bringing it home for us.
The goats.
One of the absolute greatest of all time. We appreciate her. Padme at this point is past her term as queen, yet she was asked by the next queen to stay serving in the public as a senator. Now, I'm sure you could imagine that going from queen to senator would probably be straight up dog water. I feel like that would really stink.
I think it depends. It depends on what you're doing as queen versus what you're doing as senator, and
I mean,
and the way that your culture views both, and the way your planet views both. Because
I do agree with you.
It's not fully clear the powers that a senator has on their own planet, but it's pretty clear of the influence that they have in the Senate and that they represent, right? Just much like the Senate of the U.S., right? That they are chosen to represent their constituency within the Senate, right?
Sure, yeah.
As an equal. So I mean, it's not clear what maybe power she holds specifically on Naboo anymore, but I mean, just because she's not the literal queen doesn't mean she's probably still not treated quite well, especially as a former queen, because it seems, especially when you look at the funeral in Revenge of the Sith for Padme, it's really, I think, quite evident that past queens are treated quite well. I think maybe in a similar way to the fact that whenever, like, say, a past president of the United States has died, that it's
I'd
a very big deal.
I'd say even more, genuinely.
Yeah, well, because this
I think it's directly related.
The whole planet versus just just the population of the U.S. cares. But I'm just saying that, like, in a similar cultural vein, right? That it's like
I think it's
people,
genuinely on par with the royal family.
Yeah, well, I think difference with the royal family is the royal family does abdicate every so many terms, right? It's not like a necessarily elected position, and then after they leave office, they kind of become celebrities. Is kind of something that's happened more recently with U.S. presidents. Is after they leave office, they kind of become celebrities and make all this money doing
influencers. It's crazy. I love it.
Essentially, yeah. And so it seems like, just kind of from the way that some of this stuff happens, that it seems like almost, a Queen of Naboo is of similar cultural significance. Although, of course, we're talking about an entire planet's culture versus just a singular nation's. But
dude, you absolutely know Padme Amidala would be the most popular TikTok account in all of the galaxy. You know that to be true. Like, her get ready with me's, her makeup videos. Like, she would never have to work in the Senate again. She knew that too. She knew she could be an influencer. She could be just this famous lady. But instead, she was all about that change. All about making change. I know that you'd follow Queen Amidala, Senator Amidala, Padme Amidala. You'd follow her.
Yeah, she'd probably be dropping some straight heat on the regular, bro.
On the reg. I'd watch her makeup tutorials. Are you kidding me?
I mean, dude, low-key, I'd be sitting there watching freaking CNN Coruscant News Network. And she'd be a senator. She'd be low-key my favorite senator, bro. Low-key, she'd be dropping base takes all the time.
No, we all know that you watch Fex News. Can't fool us.
News.
Can't fool us, dude.
See, I would have made a Fox News pun, but I couldn't think of one. And Coruscant News Network just was way easier. Was way more of a layup.
Yeah, don't worry, I made it for you.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought of X. That's fire.
You're a huge Fex News guy, IRL, so you're just taking that into Star Wars. I respect it. Staying true to yourself. And I think that the politics inside of Star Wars are awesome, by the way. I think that they're so fun.
They're top notch. They're top notch. There's only 2 series that I have seen politics in where I'm like, dang, that's some sick politics.
That's some
Star Wars
sweet polities.
There are only 2 series that you can get me more wrapped up in their politics than real world politics: Star Wars and Dune, because they're both excellently written and they both are actually maybe in some cases deeper than real world politics for no reason. And it's awesome.
Well, it's because they're also in much more...
My knowledge of real world politics protocol, or my knowledge of real world politics battle droid, my knowledge of Star Wars politics, freaking C-3PO.
Yeah, and that's also because they're in much more advanced, civilized, not necessarily civilized, but much more advanced
Technologically,
but even as people, like, a lot has to go into a society to do some of the things that they do in Star Wars and in Dune especially. I'm a big fan, though. Big fan of in-world politics and stuff like that. It's some of my favorite world building, and it's something that I get to do right now in my book, and it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun because politics are such a enigma, because no matter what, you have an opinion about it. And you feel a certain type of way that other people don't, and you're going to do everything in your power to make them. But here's the catch, and this is the fun thing about politics for people, I feel. No matter what you do, you're never changing someone's mind. Their mind is made. Humans don't change their mind. So that's why politics are the ultimate paradox, because they will always be chasing each other's tails, and they will never bite down. Hate to break it to you, I know you're a big news watcher and follower.
Yeah, no, I'd argue that people do change their minds. I would say it's not all people. I'd say definitely some people will do it. But what I will say is that in a lot of situations, especially in a debate scenario, you are often not going. Actually, you will pretty much in a debate scenario, you will never change someone's mind.
Yeah, that's what
maybe in genuine conversation, yes, people's mind, and like people will genuinely change over time in some cases, but in the case of an actual debate where you were just fighting back and forth, your point versus their point, that you are not winning, because each of your goals is to convince the other that you are right, and therefore you are not accepting that you are wrong, and you're not going to change your mind.
Exactly, and that's the people that are, I say, quote unquote, in the stadium. Those are the people that politics is their baseball. It's their Star Wars. Like, it's what they...
Meanwhile, I just care about the politics of baseball. I'm kidding.
No, I do too. I am too. I really appreciate talking about like rule changes and things. I love those. So
also the politics of... So I throw a slider, and then I tunnel a fastball off of it.
How did you feel about the Tatooinis signing Sebulba?
I don't know. I felt like that was a very. I felt like they overpaid. I think Small was past his prime.
Yeah, and
that might be a hot take.
he didn't even finish last race. He was injured for quite a while at the end.
You can chalk it up to foul play though. Like I don't think that was really his fault.
No, and the Tatooinis,
Some
really good
some
organization.
people argue that it was, but I mean, those are conspiracy theorists, bro.
Absolutely. Those guys never saw Sebulba and performing in 32 BBY. He was one of the best.
Can we talk about the very pseudo football game that's playing in that bar?
Oh, I love it. Like it's even more world building, man.
I think it's so fire.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, yes, they also love football here.
Yes.
Respect.
So,
Also, the playoffs have been dope so far, minus the game that my team played, but we ignore that. The playoffs have been fire so far.
Absolutely. And
also wait, wasn't there was another game that was also not very good, but oh well. Unfortunately, those were like the 2 primetime games that sucked.
I just love that Obi-Wan was like, I'm gonna go get a drink and I'm gonna watch the game. You go figure out who killed. You go figure out who tried to kill Padme. I'm gonna get a drink and enjoy the game, like a real man.
And tell Mr. Elon here to go home and rethink his life.
Exactly. So,
have you ever seen the video Obi-Wan has a drinking problem?
Does he?
Oh, I might need to send you this video. I also made a meme based off of them. I'm gonna have to send you these later.
Yeah.
It's like a very very short Obi-Wan as a drinking video, like meme video. It's just a bunch of clips of just like every time Obi-Wan goes to get a drink on screen.
That could also, be a little theory, a little fan theory about why he aged so much. Like, he was just poisoning himself every day, drinking his pain away.
Especially after Satine died, bro. Like, dude, Loki, how much alcohol you think that man's was drinking on the daily while he was in exile on Tatooine, bro? Like, everyone, like, dude, Satine's dead, the Jedi are gone. He's just here watching Anakin's kid. He let down Anakin. Like, dude, this man's
Padme's
drinking
gone.
and sorrows away, bro.
Yeah. His only buddy that's still kicking is trying to kill him, Maul. I love it.
His only buddy.
At that point, they're buddies. Come on. I hope at least once.
It's a very odd relationship.
It is. I hope at least once Asajj Ventress came over and had dinner and they just like hooked up for old time's sake. What? Dude,
No, she couldn't do that to Quinlan, bro.
Before Quinlan.
Quinlan, bro.
Before Quinlan.
Before?
Yeah.
The freak you mean before?
During the Clone Wars, bro. There's no way. Like, hey, after this, let's go hang out. After work, let's go hang out. There's no way.
After work. That is the most sitcom thing I've ever heard.
But it's true. It's so true, man.
Maybe in your head, canon. That's my head does not have that strange of an oddly shaped of a cannon.
Dude, it's Star Wars is life, man. There's so much sex in Star Wars, and none of it happens on.
Like this is like. I can't even make an equivalency to this because if I were to, it'd be so absolutely absurd. This is like if during the it's not even the Cold War. This is like if during the Cold War, like freaking like Margaret Thatcher and whoever the freaking head of the USSR were like getting together on the side.
That
Like,
happened
what
a
are you
lot,
talking
brother.
about?
That kind of stuff happens a lot. Cleopatra sleeping with Caesar. It happens. You know? Obi-Wan was about
and
that.
then he got ganked. And he got ganked for it.
So did Obi-Wan. He got ganged for it. Not
What did Obi-Wan get ganked for it?
Order
He laid down
66,
his
dog.
life.
Order 66, man. Like, is what Ventress was working towards. She was part of that
But
plan.
Mark Antony actually died though.
Oh, I know, but it was all a part of it. It's all a part of it. I think people tend to forget Ventress was a Sith assassin, dog. Like, she was Dooku's apprentice. Ventress was on the same level of Darth Maul. Ventress was about that, and she's sick, and really cool that she's another one of the characters that doesn't show up in Attack of the Clones. And it's really cool that she's exclusive to the Clone Wars and its subsidiary series, The Bad Batch, you know? Big fan of Asajj Ventress, big fan of Dooku. Just really big fan of these prequel era shows and movies. And like, we haven't even got to the coolest part of Attack of the Clones, when Anakin and Padme profess their love, and Anakin, for their honeymoon, essentially, decides, hey, I'm gonna
go commit genocide.
I need to go find my mother. And like you said, he committed genocide to an entire Tusken tribe. Found his mother. Unfortunately, she died in his arms after being brutally everythinged by the Tuskens.
Which I have a little thing about that, which is that I feel like Book of Boba Fett, maybe, I don't know how intentional this was, but it definitely, I think, did inadvertently add, I think, more significance and weight to just how wrong what Anakin did was. Because obviously it's like, these are definitely
People.
intelligent enough beings that they're like, they are fully sentient and that they do like deserve human rights. Right?
Yeah.
But I think that there is enough of this idea that like they're animals, and I saw them like animals. Like, there is enough, especially because they just killed his mom for what seems like no reason, that you are kind of willing to like hear him out and kind of like side with him enough to diminish it in your mind. But once you like watch Book of Boba Fett and see like that there actually is significant depth and culture there, you're like, oh no, he's actually just genuinely evil. Like, that's
Very
like
evil thing to
horrible,
do.
like straight to hell type stuff. Like, you're kind of like, wait, how did I ever in any like percentage point even like begin to justify this ever? Then be like, understandable reaction. You're very powerful and your mom got killed. No, these are people. That's so wrong. So yeah, that was an interesting little thought I had there. Was that, wow, this makes Anakin look even worse than he already did.
Yeah,
Which is cool.
I think it's
Yeah,
exactly.
It was very wrong.
I think it was a really good thing, and it made if his actions are like a font, they definitely made it bold, more bold.
Yeah.
And what Anakin does in this movie, it's really sad. It's really sad to see a good person like him go to such extents, and then almost immediately he jumps right back into that good person that he is. But the issue is, like, what he did has scars, especially on him. And Padme knows it, yet still chooses him. And I think maybe she thinks that she can fix him. And maybe that comes from her being a politician. Oh, maybe I can fix this guy. It's real tragic. It's real tragic, the length of time that we skip. Because you get a little bit of context seeing how people grow. And you hope that you'd see a little bit more perception of Anakin from other people in the Jedi, aside from the Jedi Council. But I mean, at the end of the day, how they portrayed the Jedi and the way that they portrayed the Jedi in this movie was, I think, really good and really consequential for the consequences they were going to face in the next film, which they start to, I suppose, get in some real debt with the galaxy here, because Obi-Wan and Anakin and Padme end up as prisoners in Geonosis after Padme chooses, hey, we're gonna go save Obi-Wan, because Anakin was like, screw that guy.
And kind of some thoughts back on some of those things you kind of just talked about. Number one is on that scene where, Anakin confesses to having killed all the Tuskens, right? In that village. There was definitely some things in that, specifically Padme's reaction, we were like, hold on, what? This is your reaction?
Mm-hmm.
I think there was a bit too much empathy from Padme. That's kind of, it's almost concerning, because it's like, no, you probably shouldn't just like kneel down next to him when someone says something like this. You should probably like walk away and allow him to like in silence fully consider like the weight of what he just confessed to and the weight of what he did.
Yeah,
it's like, and how she kind of just took this on the chin and just kind of just moved on, and it's like that feels a bit absurd. But I think it also, I think it's also, while it's absurd, it's not actually unreasonable characteristically, because I mean, I think they're both, at least I believe that they are pretty both self-aware and kind of how like this relationship is likely dangerous for both of them, but that they are so intoxicated by one another that they have kind of had to put off reason, right? Like Anakin, to the point where Anakin just kind of straight up says like you expect me to be rational, like how can I do that? It's like, you're a Jedi, you're supposed to be purely rational, you're supposed to like operate purely in rational thought, like, and yet here you are saying like, how can you expect me to do that at all? So I mean the forethought of like trying to live this as a lie will ultimately like it will destroy us, which ultimately ends up being the truth. So I think one of the interesting things about this movie, about these movies in general, but specifically I feel like this one more than Phantom Menace, because obviously Revenge of the Sith is where it all, fully comes to fruition, right? Where all that stuff actually happens. You understand how we actually fully got here today, right?
Yeah.
To where they were in A New Hope. But I'd say Attack of the Clones, far more than Phantom Menace, says some of it in a very cheeky way. It's like, Obi-Wan to Anakin, I swear one day you'll be the death of me, right?
Don't say that, Master. The closest thing I have to a father.
There's some of it that's extremely cheeky and like haha, very funny, foreshadowing, right? But some of it's like foreshadowing to stuff that actually hasn't happened on screen or hasn't even happened off screen yet, right? And stuff like this will tear us apart, and ultimately we see all that it did, right? that, you know, if it wasn't, you know, I mean, I guess we can break this down more next week, but, you know, like, you know, just a quick thought that, you know, if Anakin and Padme had been a secret, like, you know, and he could have been very upfront about why he felt this way, and could have been, you know, honest about, you know, what he really felt like was going to happen, he could have maybe gotten some better solutions from the Jedi that could have steered him away from Palpatine's advice. So I'd say that's one of the things the movie does excellently, is again already going ahead and setting up for the next one, and you know, making sure it's clear of these ties, which I think is great. The other one you mentioned was that we're again setting up for the Jedi, kind of getting their comeuppance for the way that they become, right? I'd say so much, you know, it's talked about all the time how the Jedi became arrogant and dogmatic, right? I think one of the ways it's really clearly seen that it's not where, you know, like Mace Windu and you know, Yoda have the conversation about, you know, how too many Jedi have become too arrogant, right in their power, but like the Jedi as a whole had become really truly arrogant. I mean, if you look at the fact that I mean you look at when they're talking about, you know, oh, there's this planet, it's not in our archives. Well, if it's not in our archives, it just simply must not be real, must not exist. There's no way that we could ever be missing information.
Right.
Like that you're somehow above being misinformed, or that you're above having information removed from your database.
Yeah.
And I love that. And I have a feeling this was absolutely out of George's mind, and that he really wanted to, and that he was really quite serious about the idea of the fact that it was a bunch of younglings, and it was the mind of younglings that figured out, oh hey, someone must have deleted it, right? You know, you know, Yoda says, truly amazing the mind of a child is, right? That is, I think, maybe, I feel like that's something that you talk about this movie enough, that it's just the concept of like, these are like children who have not yet been exposed to, you know, the real world necessarily.
Yeah.
And they are innocent, and in their imagination, they are far more creative than anyone who has been. And so as such, they will think of ideas that others would be blind to. So I thought that was really, really sick on watching that and be like, oh yeah, wait, this is really cool. So yeah, there's some of my thoughts from all that stuff.
Do you think Padme should have done something differently altogether than, because I know you mentioned like let him have some space with his decision that he made, but do you think that she should have done more things differently than that?
I mean, I do find it interesting. I think that and there's just so much here that's just like, I think I can more so understand Anakin. I'd say, so I don't want to like breach into getting overly like, this makes less sense for a character. There's like some things where I'm like, okay, this I can defend. It makes sense that a character would behave like this. Anakin being this almost like, at times, almost like lovesick puppy dog at times, is completely understandable. He met Padme at 9 and saw her as like an angel, and has not stopped thinking about her since. And he is now 19. Like, yeah, makes sense that he'd act this way. Padme's 24. She acts extremely immature for someone who is 24. However, there's maybe something to be said for, you know, for the fact that, you know, maybe when you're like becoming a queen at like 14, that might like mess with the way that you develop.
Sure. Yeah. Honestly.
And the things that she went through at that age. So like, again, there's some stuff I'm willing to reasonably say, but I think there's just like, why it's like, why would you allow that? And like, it was like, what there was like, I get the idea of like, maybe someone you should trust, but like Obi-Wan should have been a little bit more like, no, you're a freaking hormonal teenager. Maybe I'm not going to put you with this woman that you have like obvious feelings for. Like, what?
You've been cranking. You've been cranking your hog to this woman. I can feel it.
Like that was so maybe it's less of a so maybe it's less Padme's fault and it's more Obi-Wan's fault for not being smarter. I mean, I get that Obi-Wan needed to investigate, but like Obi-Wan didn't need to investigate it.
No.
Like someone else could have taken over investigation.
Someone wise.
And
Like the Chancellor.
I mean, other than freaking, oh my lord, that I also was watching that. I was like, no, all politicians are corrupt. I think the Chancellor's fine. It's like, oh no, but he's the most corrupt of all of them.
I got news for you, pal.
Just some fun irony. But yeah, it's like, yeah, he's got the worst kind of corruption, the corruption of the dark side. Yeah.
What was your favorite overall scene from your rewatch so far? Because we're about to get into my favorite overall scene.
I'd say freaking because of I think what it's allowed for in the continued storytelling of Star Wars, the fight on Kamino between Obi-Wan and Jango.
Yeah.
And the reason being is because obviously we kind of got to see Boba, but we didn't see Boba get to fully be Boba Fett.
Right. He was
in the way that
pretty
we see
vanilla.
We got to see Jango Fett. We got to see this bounty hunter go toe to toe with a freaking Jedi, and a Jedi who we recognize as pretty powerful.
Yeah. Beat a Sith Lord.
Yeah, exactly. Like we're talking about the Jedi who, you know, as a Padawan took down the first Sith Lord that the galaxy had seen in a millennia.
Exactly.
Right. So, and this guy goes toe to toe and survives against this dude.
Yeah.
And frankly, and to some extent, you could even argue that, you know, while he didn't kill him, he definitely won that interaction.
Yeah, even when they took it to space,
as he did get to
outspaced him, outflew him.
Yeah, because then it was like sure, again, he didn't kill him and he thought he killed him, but like ultimately Obi-Wan made the decision of, if I keep doing this, I'm gonna get myself killed, so I'm gonna instead fake him out.
Yep.
But I mean, at the end of the day, he was in a scenario where he basically had to forfeit that I am not going to be just able to just chase this guy down or stop him. He's gonna kill me before I do either of those things. So he ultimately accepted that defeat and said, all right, time to fake my death.
And
right?
while
so
we're on Jango Fett, dude, I was doing some just critical thinking. Jango Fett, like this, like why do people bounty hunt? For the money, right? Jango Fett was probably not doing all that well before he got this deal from Tyrannus and the cloners. Like, he probably got paid handsomely, and I think he went out and bought the Slave One. That's my personal headcanon.
I don't know, but like here's the thing, right? And here's what I was kind of getting at, was that this was the first time we ever saw someone really go toe to toe. And what is he? He is a Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And this really sets up, dude, how absolutely like just sick Mandalorians are. These are just normal dudes, not force sensitive, just got some sick gadgets, some nice armor, and some sweet skills. And these guys, without a lightsaber, just normal guns, normal freaking Batman gadgets. They're just a bunch of like freaking Batman.
Yeah.
Oh, you have superpowers? I have batarangs and a contingency plan. And I can go toe to toe with Superman because of that. Like, or is that a crazy comparison?
No, I think it's a perfect comparison. Like, they're as battle trained as it gets, just like Batman. They have top tier, top quality.
Shit.
Yeah, like weapons are their religion.
Yeah.
Genuinely and literally, weapons are what they are. So
I wonder how well that plays with a lot of laws in the Star Wars universe if they have proper First Amendment rights of like freedom of religion. How well does that actually often work out for them? It's like,
you are not taking my blaster.
Legally, weapon is my religion. Oh, can't discriminate then. Oh well.
Right.
I guess you get to have a gun. Like, that's crazy. So it's like, oh, I can't have gun. Well, I identify as Mandalorian, so actually, because I believe in Mandalorian religion, I can have gun.
Right.
Like, how do you counter that, man? The minutia of Star Wars politics.
I guess to counter that, you would just have to say, like, regardless of race, you can't, if you do something, you gotta lose your weapons, such as going on public transportation. And we see that with Mando, like, he has to give up his weapons.
Yeah.
I had to ban someone really quick. Back to what we were talking about.
What did you say?
I had to ban somebody.
What did MJ do?
Brought up some really weird politics that I don't want to talk about or have on my screen.
Oh, I had a feeling that I knew what it was given the context of the conversation that was just had, but I didn't want to assume. Okay, cool.
Yeah, all good. That's why I don't put chat on the screen anymore. As well.
I had a feeling that might end up coming up after what I was saying.
Suffice to say, though, Jango Fett
art
equals
imitates
cool.
life imitates art, I guess. We'll leave it at that.
Absolutely.
That topic.
Suffice to say, Jango Fett equals cool. Equals really cool.
Agreeable.
And
Mandalorians equals sick.
Mandalorians equal overrated pretty boy. A bitch. But
What?
But I think it would be really sweet if they explored some more Jango Fett. And you can do that with a video game. Just keep his helmet on. And if it's animated too, you can de-age in video games much better than you can for a TV series for whatever reason. But that'd be really sweet. I feel like we kind of got robbed a little bit by having Jango killed in this movie, because how sick would some more Jango Fett have been in the Clone Wars, you know? It'd be nice if we got a Clone Wars series that's like a prelude or a prologue. And I think we are getting that with
Tales.
Tales.
Then you don't have to worry about de-aging. Then you can just get D. Bradley Baker, low key.
Exactly.
Because I feel like if you did it in Clone Wars animation, you couldn't still then bring in Tamara Morrison. It would have to be.
That'd be so sick to have D. Bradley Baker play Jango Fett. I'd love to see his performance of Jango Fett, because it's a completely different character than any that he's played so far.
Yeah, because I think it'd be wrong to essentially have the OG clone, like the guy that they cloned all the clones off of, not be voiced by the guy who voiced all the clones in the Clone Wars. If it's in Clone Wars animation, I feel like that would just be like, yeah, so actually screw you, right? That's kind of how that feel in my mind, which is just like, yeah, so you were like all the clones of him, but you don't get to be the original, even though it's in the animation style that you were all the clones in.
Mm-hmm. If there was one character out of Attack of the Clones, though, that you would want to see more backstory on, is it not Jango Fett? I
mean, yeah, other than, I mean, we got some good stuff in Clone Wars, but I'd also be down to see more of Boba Fett, like really just like growing up and coming into his own.
Yeah.
I'd say my only real thing that I wish that we could go back and fix is that, like, again, like, theoretically, right? Speaking purely in theory, Boba Fett really should not have looked as old as he did in Book of Boba Fett.
Oh no, absolutely.
It's just unfortunately that is the case. Is it's like
they made it too late.
He in his like mid to late 40s, unfortunately.
Early 30s.
They made it too.
I think he'd be what? He'd be 36.
He'd be like late,
yeah, he'd be 36, 37.
Yeah, he'd be like mid to late 30s. That's right.
So yeah, close to 40. I don't know why I'm being all semantics about it.
He'd still be.
He'd look good.
Chilling, bro. He'd be looking good. He was not looking all too good.
Because I think Tamora Morrison was that age.
He should be.
Yeah, I think Tamora Morrison was around that age when he made Jango Fett originally.
Yeah.
Great head of hair too, as Jango. Like seeing Boba bald wasn't great. Wasn't a great visual because that's just never how Boba Fett was ever depicted. Especially after this movie. In most things, Boba Fett had this like very similar head of hair, like in the Robot Chicken, in Battlefronts, in video games, even in like posters and trading cards. Boba Fett would have hair, so it was kind of a throw off. It was kind of a throw off. I know that they tried to make sense of it, like the acid that was inside the Sarlacc's stomach didn't kill him. It just aged him and cooked him. And they didn't really show enough time on Tatooine to have the twin sons do their aging mechanics either. But you know, at the same time, I think they did their best. But ultimately, like you said, seeing him so old was kind of an initial detachment for that series. But yeah, here,
which is unfortunate because Boba Fett, again, very sick character, and it just kind of because my dad, again, having grown up in the era of Star Wars and being like a kid when Boba Fett first is appearing on screen, in his mind, Boba Fett was like one of the coolest characters in Star Wars,
up and down,
and freaking and so when he's watching this, he's like, this just made a mockery of like one of my favorite characters in his mind.
Yeah, that's gotta be that's gotta be tough. Yeah, it's gotta be tough for your dad, because I don't know who my dad's favorite character was, but he introduced me to Star Wars too, and he grew up in the original trilogy time, so I'd be curious to know who he was really vibing with at the time. But I just know a lot of people who watched the originals, huge Boba people. Not even because he had tons to do with the story, but just how cool he was, how menacing he was. And you get to see it, I would even say, like, in a different vein, and how you could have a really good baseball team, but then you have a baseball team that has like the expensive uniforms, all the best equipment, and you're like, oh, you get a different kind of intimidation. And I think that's the intimidation that Jango Fett brings, especially when you see him kill a Jedi Master. Coleman Trevor, I think his name is. Jedi Master. Killed by Jango Fett in the Geonosian Arena, which originally was meant to be the assassinations of Padme, Obi-Wan, and Anakin. But
more like executions, but yeah.
That's what I meant, sorry. Executions. Thank you. Yeah. But due to Padme being a goat and Anakin using incredible force powers, including
I just
beast
sworn she was a
control.
woman, bro. Oh well.
Honestly, you see a lot of Leia in Padme, and I think that's really cool.
Interesting. How interesting. No, I'm kidding. No, it's definitely true. Does someone not make a comment on that in something?
Obi-Wan does about Leia to Leia. Sorry, about Padme. Like, you remind me of an old friend. She was
That's right. Yeah, I was supposed to say. I was pretty sure it was the
stubborn
Obi-Wan show.
and brave. She died when you were quite young. Man.
Yeah, your literal biological mom.
Mm-hmm. But I'm sure.
Which, man, that must have been a topic in the Organa household at some point. That was probably really touchy.
No,
No, you're never finding out. Deal.
Leia knew who her mom was, actually.
At what point I forget. I feel like I maybe did notice at some point.
Around the Force Unleashed, when she's like 13, 14, when she's getting into politics, Bale used a lot of Bale showed her a lot of Padme speeches and stuff.
But she kind of figured it out.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, huh?
Like, why is my dad showing me
look-
this random woman? Oh, that's why.
And why is she so similar to me? And why does she look like me?
Right. Shout out to Padme though. She's incredible in this film. She really carries a huge section of it, which is the romance between Anakin and Padme. She carries a lot of it because Hayden is perfectly acting a 19-year-old virgin who...
Yeah, pretty much. That's it. It's like, yeah, because all of her flirting is like actually like legitimately very good flirting, and then Anakin's just like, oh no, please stop.
What I love about this movie though is Anakin kind of learning to open up, and that's some of what I would love to see from some days at the temple, where you see just how people are dicks to him and treat him really bad, really poorly, kind of dehumanizing him since he's the chosen one and gets all these special privileges, like not have had to go through any of the youngling and Padawan trials. Like, he was just immediately a Padawan, and he got a lot of shit. He got a lot of grief, and I think you can kind of see that in the pressure and the burden that he puts upon himself, because he's 19. He lets what people say get to him, and I think he plays that as well as one can. Genuinely, I think Hayden criminally, and I know that this is a very loud take because everyone says it nowadays, but criminally underrated acting job in the prequels, because he really portrayed exactly what it is that George was looking for. And you don't get that with many actors. You don't get that a lot. This was a very, very like generational performance, and there's a reason why they picked Hayden, because he was perfect at it. Whereas a guy like Leonardo DiCaprio, who the role was written for, when he tested it, it just didn't fit. But it fit with Hayden. It fit Anakin perfectly. Like, this kid is a stone cold verge, L nerd, who just so happens to have the most force potential ever. How would he react to a top 10 most gorgeous woman in the entire galaxy? I think it was pretty on par, you know?
Yeah, he like, dude, low key, dating up.
Absolutely. Personality, like, included. Dating up. Not to say that Anakin's not a handsome fella, but in this case, he's much more of a fart smella. And it was really nice to see an authentic self be portrayed here. And I love that about this movie. It portrayed a lot of authentic selves. You got to see kind of how Obi-Wan was reacting to his new role as a Jedi Knight turned master of a headstrong apprentice who is meant to be the savior, and he's the chosen one. And you kind of see their relationship through it all. And you see that Anakin would do absolutely anything for Obi-Wan. And that includes facing down a Sith Lord by himself. And he goes toe to toe with Count Dooku, and he's like, you know what? I'm him. I know I'm making my debut here, and I'm facing, Max Scherzer on the bump. But I'm him. I got this guy. This guy got nothing on me. Turns out, Max Scherzer still has his fastball, and Anakin Skywalker promptly was inflicted with disarm. So, didn't go too well. Dooku made quick work of his Padawan's Padawan and his Padawan. And up came... trying to think of a good comp for this one. Man, Salvador Perez pinch hitting.
Jose Altuve.
Old Yeller. Coming out for one last at bat.
Jose Altuve might be a foul comparison.
It's a great one because I'm not a big fan of Yoda anyways. But Yoda comes out.
That's crazy.
Yoda comes out and puts on a good show, only because I think he knew what pitches were coming, not because he's like that. Right? Yeah.
Of course, not because of any kind of vibrating pads on his chest that he didn't want to rip off his clothes so people could see.
No, he had foresight.
There was no trash cans involved in the prediction of Dooku's moves.
Can I say though, really sweet.
And I get to make a Taurus podcast and Rage Bait Astros fans. What a great day.
Screw Astros fans, nerds. Nerds. Enjoy the NL West when you get sent back to it.
I have too many friends that are Astros fans living in Texas, unfortunately.
Anywho, Yoda and Dooku. That was my dad's favorite part. Because I think being a fan of the original, seeing Yoda in action finally after all those years, I think for a lot of
just a freaking Olympic gymnast.
Absolutely, it's a fighting style that we'd never seen before. Very brand new fighting style, Ataru. Very aerial based, similar to Ahsoka Tano, which we see later on in the Clone Wars. But I hate to say it, but world building and just like what a show it is. What a movie it is. What a picture. It provides so much that you're looking for. And to see so much action. Like, this is such an action-filled Star Wars movie where the first one got complaints about being too political. This one, you could complain, hey, too much action. See some more politics. But I loved it. And it was just an incredible part two. One of my favorite number twos in movies, really.
Yeah. If I may, a little thought on Count Dooku that I kind of had as I was particularly watching his scene with Obi-Wan in that cell. I kind of had the thought of, like, what if he wasn't a Sith yet? Obviously he was, right? We know for a fact that he had already been, crowned as Darth Tyrannus and he was Sidious's apprentice by this point. But what if we're in a hypothetical scenario where there is really no Sidious pulling the strings, and Dooku legitimately is just a Jedi who has left the Order because he feels like they and the Republic have become corrupt, and is now leading this movement. Like, what if Dooku really was who the majority of the galaxy thought he was, which was just an opposition leader?
Exactly. That's what
Like,
the Jedi thought brother was, but
how interesting would that be?
yeah.
It became obvious pretty quickly that he wasn't. Although, I will say it's quite odd to me that it wasn't kind of just suspected that, like, well, I guess I don't know. Was it ever implied that Tyrannus was Darth Tyrannus in this movie, or was just a man named Tyrannus?
A man called Tyrannus, yeah.
Yeah. Because I was saying, because I do think it was really interesting that it kind of, man, it would have been. I'm so happy that they did dig into that in Clone Wars, where it's like, wait, our enemy made an army for us. Like, why? And I think again the fact that there wasn't, I don't know, we didn't see more evidence out of the Jedi that, you know, because now this is a thing that happens in between 2 and 3, so I feel like I'm not talking spoilers now. I'm just talking, maybe in some ways about this movie, and what some of the continuation of this movie was, which is that, you know, you probably should have put some more thought into that, and hey, this is kind of weird, and then, you know, when you know, a clone just randomly out of nowhere for no apparent reason kills a Jedi, and then, you know, this clone goes rogue investigating it and then also gets killed. It's like, you really should have put some more thought into this. You know, this is kind of pressing, and it feels like they maybe were starting to, and then it was just like, oh nope, too late. You started thinking too late. Because again, you grew too arrogant. We're kind of just like, huh, this is very interesting. I wonder what it means. I'm sure we'll figure out eventually. Moving on.
Yeah. But, you know, to be fair,
because we're the Jedi, and what would happen to us? What could ever possibly bad happen? Nothing bad could ever happen to Jedi.
yeah, exactly. And that's why I'm not the biggest Yoda fan, man, because good character, just mishandled all of it. And he let it happen.
You bet nobody's dying in the Avengers world, baby.
Exactly. But hey, you know, like, that's Attack of the Clones. That's exactly what the movie was, and it's brilliant in the way that it just takes the galaxy as it was and turns it upside down and says, "Hey, we're in war now, pal. This is it. We are in war." And that war continues next week as we go over Revenge of the Sith.
That war ends next week, really. We see the beginning, we see the end of the war. We don't get to see the middle. We don't get the middle for, what, 3 years? We don't get to start to see the middle for 3 more years after Revenge of the Sith.
That's true, yeah.
When the Clone Wars movie came out, at which point I was itty bitty.
It's very true. And it'll be nice to get the Clone Wars its own episode, because there's so much to say about the Clone Wars.
Yeah, because you said season 5 will be TV shows, right?
Yep, season 5 will be television, and I look forward to that.
When we hit in the non Skywalker saga movies though?
Where they fit in with the television shows.
Okay.
Yeah. So Rogue One will be with Andor. And then I've been thinking about where Solo would go. Not quite sure yet, but Solo will also be talked about. If not, we'll just give it its own little episode too, because it is really sweet.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Oh, I was thinking I'd piece it in with. That's right. I was gonna piece it in with Star Wars Outlaws. Because it's
that's a game, but yeah, sure.
Yeah, it'll be in the gaming bit. because it does have a lot to do with Star Wars Outlaws. But thank you guys for watching episode 2 of the 4th season, 52nd episode altogether of Star Wars The Archives podcast. For Bolt 23, aka Evan from the Dugout Talks podcast, and me, Jedi Knight Trevan, Sotico, Big Dog, however you know me.
Yeah, no. How long are you waiting to plan for this to go up onto the YouTubes? How long is the delay going to be?
I'm gonna get it up as soon as I can. I think by tomorrow.
Sick.
Tomorrow at noon.
All right. So by the time we start recording, so maybe by the time you guys finish listening to this, first episode of the Dugout Talk show will be out. So maybe go check that out if you guys are into baseball, or maybe you're thinking of getting interested in baseball. 2026 is a great year to start watching all sorts of sports, and baseball is, I think, one of the best sports to start watching this year. So
yeah, let's see who can.
If you're interested, check it out. Go check it out.
Let's see who can dethrone the Empire. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, for real.
Look forward to it, though.
It'll be great.
So we'll see you guys next time. Peace, love, and light.